Hi, how are you? How are you kids? How are you getting on? How are you getting on at getting to know you and them under the hood? Are you thriving? Are your kids thriving? What's happening? Let me know. Keep your questions and your comments coming. I'm loving receiving them, and I'm loving the conversations that we're having now. So this week, something very exciting happened. Two of my favourite people in the entire world got together to have a conversation about parenting in an uncertain world. Nikki Bonus, my dear, dear friend, colleague, peer, inspiration, Wonder Woman, mother, CEO of Life Skills, and Dr. Dan Siegel, child psychiatrist, attachment researcher, founder of the amazing field of interpersonal neurobiology, wonderful human being and father. It's a great interview, and one I encourage you to watch. I will get the link and pop it under this video if I can. But in the meantime, I just thought I'd talk about some of the important points that were discussed for you today. So, if you don't know who Dan Siegel is, I strongly encourage you to look him up. I think of him as an essential item when it comes to parenting and our children's brain. He takes complicated topics of brain science and interpersonal neurobiology, his field, and packages them up for us into neat little packages and tools for us to use as parents. He loves acronyms, which makes it easy to understand and to remember some of his concepts. I've already shared with some of you one of his acronyms, the SIFT concept, in our Sunday evening meetings. Great tool for kids and for parents, for adults, everyone. So, something else Dan talks about is the 4 S's, which relate to attachment. So, as we know, attachment, we know, shapes our children's it shapes their mental life, it shapes the relationship they have with themselves and others throughout their lifespan, and it impacts actual structural brain development. So, super important. And Dan's 4 S's form the fundamentals of secure attachment. I have written an article on this, on the 4 S's. It's on the Life Skills blog, so if you want more detailed information, look it up. But basically, for here, the 4 S's are safety, so feeling safe, being and feeling seen, and being soothed. So feeling safe, being seen, feeling that they're seen, feeling and being soothed. And when our children receive all of these from us reliably, they develop an overall sense of security, which is the 4th S. So in this interview with Nikki, Dan was pointing out that one of the reasons that these are extreme and extremely difficult times to parent in is because one of the fundamental tenets of attachment, of parenting, safety, is being challenged. So, he points out that the situation in the world right now is challenging our very fundamental sense of safety, of our loved ones, people in the world, and potentially us. And when our kids turn to us to feel safe, and this pandemic is something that fundamentally is threatening all of our safety, whatever your beliefs are around it, we're being told that we're all at risk, and when we go out, we're seeing, it's in our faces. We're seeing people with masks, the social distancing thing. It's everywhere, and our livelihood, people around us, the world potentially, the economy, everything is at risk. I'm just going to turn this off because it's not going to stop. So if this is seeping into our awareness, and let's face it, again, whatever your beliefs, it's very difficult to not be aware of at least some aspects of a global pandemic, and the effects of whatever this is. Our safety is being threatened, and when that happens, the lower parts of our brain, the parts designed to keep us safe, those reptilian parts under our level of awareness, are activated. So if this is sounding familiar, and I hope it is, I hope there's lots of head noddings going on, because this is exactly what we were talking about last week. How the awareness of something that's potentially a danger to us activates parts of the brain. And after a while, this can be exhausting, and it turns on the stress response. And when we go into the stress response, we start to react from this state of stress, and we go into the fight or flight response, or the freeze response, collapsing. Sound familiar? So when we're in the stress response, we're going to start reacting to things from a place of fear or threat. And we start to see limited choices. And we may feel like we're not in control of ourselves, our emotions. And it's not a place we want to be for our own health and well-being. And it's not a place we want to parent from, for the sake of our children's brain development and their well-being. So what do we do when it's all around us and it's threatening us, consciously or unconsciously? It's out there. What do we do? Well, we learn how to self-regulate. First and foremost, self-regulation, self-regulation, self-regulation. Learning how to take control of our nervous system instead of having it rule us. And being able to make a choice about how we want to respond instead of being at the mercy of mindlessly reacting. So, there's so much more to us. We are so much more than a stimulus response organism. Stimulus, response, stimulus, response. We are so much more than this. We have been given this. Dr. Joe Dispenza likes to call it the crowning achievement of human evolution, the frontal lobe. This gives us free will. I'm messing up my hair. And we can learn how to get out of our hind brain, the lower reptilian centers, and into our frontal lobe, where we can take control and regulate our nervous systems whenever we like. This is the privilege of being a human being. And learning to use this at will is how we thrive. And this is why I've been saying, all along, that this crisis is an opportunity to evolve, because we are faced every day at the moment with a situation globally, all of us, to practice flexing our conscious muscle, to get out of and beyond a primitive reaction, to overcome a stress reaction response to what is deemed globally a crisis, and to maintain a state of homeostasis, of balance within our bodies and nervous systems. And that balance, getting out of that stress response and coming back to a healthy homeostasis, a way of being, that is conducive to health, not dis-ease. That is conducive to well-being, not anxiety. That is conducive to maintaining a state of creation, not just survival. To thrive. This is where we want to be, to thrive. So, how do we do this? We take some deep breaths. First of all, we take some deep breaths and we get ourselves into the present moment. We drop back in to presence. And I realize, and I apologize, that I have gone off at a tangent, got very excited and gone off at a tangent. But back to Dr. Dan Siegel and Nikki's discussion. Dr. Dan talks about this too. He says that in all the research of attachment, if he was asked to summarize all the ways to remember as a parent how to respond to our children in order that we can build a secure attachment, he said yes. And the answer is presence. Presence. It's such a powerful word, and it's such a powerful state of being. Presence means a receptive awareness. I feel I have talked long enough, and I did get excited this week, I'm sorry, and I've only got to mention one of the things in the discussion between Nikki and Dan. So there's so much more good stuff in it, and I encourage you to dive on in. I will post the link here. And I'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Sydney time, for our weekly meeting, and we can discuss this further and we can go deeper into how do we get our presence on? How do we get it on? How do we do it? How do we maintain it? How do we stay there in the difficult times when we're really stretched? How do we do it? So join us tonight. Message me for the link if you don't have it. Have a wonderful week and sink into presence as much as you can this week. I wish I had more time to talk about this with you. Hopefully we will over the next few weeks. So let me know how you go. Have a wonderful week. Lots of love from here.